Hi guys, I'm going to show you today how to make the beautiful rose hip serum. So I got my beautiful rose hips that I harvested by the ocean. Look how beautiful they are. Gigantic. So what I did is I brought them home. I took off that part, and then if I want to make a syrup, I want to make it sweeter. So I will freeze it for 6 hours like the frost would do. All that does is make it sweeter. But I'm not concerned about it being sweeter because this is going to be my serum for anti-aging. So I just take that off, and then I dehydrate them. It takes about 3 to 4 days and nights to dehydrate these. And this is what they end up like. A big difference. It actually shrinks up to about that size. I put it on 100. Sometimes they go to 115 Fahrenheit. That's about it. So we're never gonna use a fresh rose hip because these are fruit. Making oil, it would go rampant because there's too much water in this because it's a fruit, okay? So we're always gonna use dried rose hips. So you guys all of you don't have an infusion machine. I make mine in my infusion machine, but we're gonna make it in the blender today because I know that most of you guys have a blender. So I heated my grapeseed oil. I like to use grapeseed oil because it's beautiful on the skin. I wouldn't really be eating grapeseed oil. I'm not crazy about eating it, but it's wonderful for the skin. Load it with vitamin C, and the rose hips are loaded with vitamin C, and also the grapeseed is loaded with vitamin E. So I'm going to add the grapeseed oil. It's warm. I warmed it to 150 Fahrenheit. I'm going to slowly pour it in here because I don't want it to break, because it is warm. So it's 150 Fahrenheit. And that was 4 cups of grapeseed oil. The reason why I want it warm is because I want it to extract all the medicinal value out of the rose hips. And it being warm, hot, it works much better. So now I'm going to add 1.5 cups of rose hips. They're all dehydrated. Oops, I lost one. They were dry. Very dry. You have to make sure they're completely dry, guys. I'm going to put the top on my blender. So I'm going to let that blend for a whole hour. Yes, I am going to let it blend for a whole hour. It would normally be in my infusion machine, but if I did it in the blender, I'd let it go for a whole hour. And then I'm going to turn it off and let it sit for the night. And I call it resting. Let it rest. And then the next day I'm going to get up and I'm going to heat it up again to 150. So I'll pour it into that again, and then I would just heat it up in a double boiler, like put this into a pot and heat it up to 150 again. And then I would do the same. I would put it on for an hour. Then I'm going to let it rest after an hour for another whole day, okay? And then I could do it one more day if I wanted to. That's just extracting more. But 2 is usually great. 2 is good enough. So after it's rested again for the night or the day, at least 12 hours, then here's mine in my infusion machine, okay? This is in the 420 Infusium. And it would be just like if it was this. I let it rest. It's been resting. I had it on yesterday. and then I let it rest for the night. So then everything separates. And these will be broken up much more too, busted up more with the blender, but everything separates. So then to strain my rosehip oil, my serum, I just use one of these Pyrex, and I use 2 strainers. This has been resting for the night, so everything has separated. Just take off the top. And then I'm going to just slowly pour it in because everything is settled to the bottom. Wait till you see the color. Oh, baby. This is complete rosehip serum right here. The color is fantastic. That's how you know you've got a good rosehip serum, when it turns this beautiful, beautiful emerald color. Here it is here. Like, look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. So now that's completely strained. There's no hairs or anything in that. If you wanted to, you could strain it with a little thinner strainer bag too. That's fine. But the way I do it, this is how it comes out perfectly. Such a beautiful orangey rosehip serum. Look at the color of it. So this is good for anti-aging. And also, when I started to market my rosehip serum, a woman that had really bad psoriasis on her hand was applying the rosehip oil to her face for anti-aging, and she noticed that the hand that she was using, look at the color of it, her hands had psoriasis really bad, and her hands started healing up from using the rosehip, putting it on her face because it was getting on her hand. So then I started making my different salves with the rosehip oil. And I make a rosehip lip love too, to repair the lips. So great for cracked skin and just skin that needs help, because this is loaded with vitamin C now. So that was easy. We turn it on for an hour. Let it rest for a day. Heat it back up to 150. Turn it on for an hour. Let it rest for the day, and then pour it gently. And then you're going to get this beautiful rosehip oil. It's absolutely gorgeous. So that's all there is to my rosehip oil. So easy. And the reason why I call it a serum is because it's with the grapeseed oil. This is such a light oil on the skin. When you put it on the skin, it absorbs nicely. It's a really nice absorber. It goes deep into the skin, so it's not laying on top of the skin very thick. It's smooth and soft. Anyone that uses it is like, they're in love with it the first time they use it. So that's it, guys. Make the rosehip serum. Yay, yay, yay. Rosehips. How beautiful it is. God is so good. I'm actually going to eat this one right now. This is how I eat my rosehips. I have a rosehip that's good like this. This is a gift from the ocean, and I nibble. See how I just nibbled it? Because rosehip's a fruit. It tastes like papaya and peach. Even has a little bit of an apple flavor to it, which is strange. So I just do that. I chew around the edges. I eat the flesh. I don't go too deep because inside is a bunch of seeds. See the seeds? They're really hard. You wouldn't want to eat them. So I'm just going to throw this one right into my garden right here. Well, baby, you're so beautiful. Look at these beauties. So, rosehip serum. You can do this, guys. Easy peasy. You're welcome.